He has won everything a footballer can win. 5 Ballon d'Or awards, 5 Champions League titles in England, Spain, and Italy. He's the all-time leading goal scorer in the history of the sport. And there's still one thing he has never had his hands on: the World Cup. This summer, at 41 years old, Cristiano Ronaldo walks out for his 6th and final World Cup. He has said it himself: this is the end. And the one prize that has escaped him for 20 years is the only thing standing between him and the perfect goodbye. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the full story of Ronaldo's last dance, the records he's about to break just by stepping onto the field, the brutal way his last World Cup ended in tears, the younger superstar now quietly taking his place in the Portugal squad, and the question every football fan on the planet is asking right now: can he actually win it, or is this the tournament that finally breaks him? If you followed this man's career since he was a skinny kid stepping over the ball at Manchester United, if you've watched him score on the biggest stages in the Champions League and the Premier League, or if you just know him as one of the 2 most famous athletes alive, stick around. Because whatever you think about Cristiano Ronaldo, what happens this summer is the closing chapter of one of the greatest sporting stories ever told. Let's start with what this man has actually done, because you can't understand the stakes of this summer without it. Cristiano Ronaldo has scored more than 950 goals in his career. He's chasing 1,000. Let that number sit for a second. 1,000 professional goals. Nobody in the history of the sport has ever reached it. He has 226 caps for Portugal and 143 international goals. Both are men's world records. Nobody has played more for their country. Nobody has scored more. He won the European Championship with Portugal in 2016. He added a UEFA Nations League title in 2025. He's won league titles in 4 different countries. And yet, for all of it, every record, every trophy, every Ballon d'Or, there is one prize he has never won. The biggest one of all. The World Cup is the only major honor missing from his collection. 20 years of trying, 5 tournaments, and he's never lifted it. Here's the part that stings the most. His best World Cup run came on his very first try, back in 2006 in Germany, when Portugal reached the semifinals. He was 21 years old. He probably thought he'd have a dozen more chances. He's now had 5 more, and he's never gotten that close again. So this summer isn't just another tournament for him. It's the last page of the one story he never got to finish, and to understand why it haunts him, you have to see how the last one ended. Rewind to the last World Cup, Qatar 2022. Portugal were genuine contenders. Ronaldo was the captain, the icon, the face of the team. And then, something nobody expected happened. He got dropped, benched. For the knockout games, Portugal's manager left Cristiano Ronaldo on the bench and started a younger player in his place. For one of the most decorated footballers who has ever lived, it was a public humbling on the biggest stage in the sport. And then it got worse. In the quarterfinal, Portugal were knocked out by Morocco. A massive upset. The dream was over. And the image that went around the world was Cristiano Ronaldo walking down the tunnel, alone, in tears, after his team were surprisingly knocked out in the last 8. One of the most shared sports photographs of the decade. Think about that for a moment. The greatest goal scorer in history, the man with every record, and his World Cup story almost ended with him crying in a tunnel. Benched, beaten, and done. For most players, that would be the end. A quiet retirement, a graceful exit. But Ronaldo, being Ronaldo, he refused to let that be the final word. He's back, one more time. And this time, he's bringing a point to prove. But the game has changed around him, and so has his own team. Here's the tension at the heart of Portugal's squad this summer, and it's the same tension that's followed every aging superstar in the history of the game. The next generation is ready, and they might be better right now. Portugal arrive at this World Cup absolutely loaded. This is not a one-man team. The squad features Bruno Fernandes in the form of his life, Bernardo Silva, João Neves, and Goncalo Ramos. This is one of the most talented rosters in the entire tournament. And that creates an uncomfortable question that follows Ronaldo everywhere now. Is he still the best player in his own team? Or is he there because of who he was, not who he is? Remember the player who replaced him on the bench in Qatar? That same generation of young Portuguese stars has only gotten better. Some fans and pundits argue that Bruno Fernandes should be the team's focal point now, with Ronaldo playing a supporting role. But here's what those people underestimate. Ronaldo is still scoring. A lot. In the Saudi Pro League this past season, he scored 26 goals in 29 games and helped Al-Nassr win the title. For Portugal under manager Roberto Martinez, he's netted 25 times in 30 appearances. That's a better goals per game ratio than under any previous national team manager in his entire career. At 41 years old, he is somehow producing some of the most efficient goal scoring of his international career. So no, this is not a farewell tour where he sits on the bench and waves to the crowd. He fully intends to lead the line. The question is whether his body and the tournament will let him, and if it does, there are records waiting that only he can break. Here's what makes this summer historic, no matter what happens to Portugal. Just by walking onto the pitch, Cristiano Ronaldo rewrites the history books. When he walks out for Portugal's opening group game, he becomes one of only 2 players in the entire history of men's football to appear at 6 World Cups. The other is his great rival, Lionel Messi. And that rivalry adds a whole other layer to this, because Messi is also playing his 6th and final World Cup this summer for Argentina. The 2 players who defined an entire era of football, taking their final bow on the same stage at the same time. There is even a chance Portugal and Argentina could meet. Ronaldo versus Messi, one last time, with everything on the line. Now here's a record that's genuinely within reach. If Portugal make it all the way to the final at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey on July 19th, Ronaldo would become the oldest player to ever appear in a World Cup final. At 41 years and 164 days old, he would shatter a record that has stood since 1982. He scored at every single World Cup since 2006. If he scores again this summer, he extends that record and stays 1 tournament clear of Messi. And then there's the big one, the 1,000-goal chase. He's sitting in the 950s. A strong World Cup could carry him toward a number no footballer has ever reached. 1,000 career goals. It would put a final, untouchable stamp on the greatest goal-scoring career the sport has ever seen. But here's the thing about all of these records. They're consolation prizes. Beautiful ones, but consolation prizes nonetheless. Because there's only one thing Cristiano Ronaldo actually wants this summer, and it's the one thing he's never been able to get. So let's ask the real question, the one this entire video has been building toward. Can Cristiano Ronaldo actually win the World Cup this summer? Portugal start their campaign in Group K, alongside DR Congo, Uzbekistan, and Colombia. On paper, they should advance. The talent in that squad is undeniable. But the road is brutal. The favorites for the tournament are Argentina, France, and Spain, 3 of the most stacked national teams on the planet. For Portugal to win it, they'll likely have to go through at least one of them. And there are real obstacles working against Ronaldo specifically. This is a North American summer tournament. The heat and humidity in many of the host cities is severe. For a 41-year-old body, that physical toll is a genuine threat. Then there's the squad tension we talked about. If Portugal struggle, the pressure to bench Ronaldo and build around the younger players will return immediately. The ghost of Qatar is always there in the background. But here's what you can never ever count out. This is a man who has spent his entire career being told what he can't do, and then doing it anyway. He says his biological age is 28. He has built his entire life around defying the calendar. And he said it himself. This is the moment. This is the last one. 20 years after he made his debut as a kid in 2006, he walks onto football's greatest stage one final time, chasing the only thing that ever got away, If he lifts that trophy in New Jersey on July 19th, it's the perfect ending, the final piece, the greatest career in the history of the sport, completed. And if he doesn't, if it ends in defeat one more time, then the image of him crying in that tunnel in Qatar won't be the worst moment of his World Cup story. The last one will be. That's what makes this summer so impossible to look away from. For Cristiano Ronaldo, there is no middle ground left. It's the perfect goodbye, or it's the heartbreak that follows him into retirement. This is his last dance, and the whole world is watching to see how it ends. So I want to hear from you. Does Cristiano Ronaldo lift the World Cup this summer and complete the greatest career in football history? Or does his last dance end in heartbreak one more time? Drop your prediction in the comments. I'll be reading every single one of them. And while you're down there, hit that like button if you're going to be watching his last tournament. Then subscribe and turn on notifications, because we are covering every angle of this World Cup all summer long. This is Hype Frame TV, new deep dives every Friday, shorts and breaking stories every Monday. If it's trending, shocking, or about to break the internet, we're already on it, always one frame ahead. Now here's something you need to know before the tournament even kicks off. Because while Ronaldo chases his perfect ending, the World Cup itself is drowning in controversy that nobody at FIFA wants to talk about. Empty seats at outrageous prices, referees getting turned back at the border, players denied entry to the host country, and kickoff times that have fans around the world furious. I break down every single one of the scandals threatening to overshadow the biggest tournament in history in this video right here. Trust me, once you see how messy the buildup has been, you'll watch this World Cup completely differently. Click it, I'll see you there.